Hi, everybody. My name is Mo Khollman. I've been to a couple of the meetings here. Applied Geographics, recently acquired by Sanborn Mapping. I'm located here in Austin, Texas, and I've been running the Applied Geographics third-party products, mapping, aerial imagery team for about 7 years now, and have the wonderful opportunity to have worked with many states around the country, as well as counties and municipalities when it relates to providing aerial imagery. Jason?
Hey, everybody. I think I know a lot of you on the call here. I've been working in Arizona for over 20 years now, so it's always exciting to be on a call and see all the great things that you guys are trying to achieve over the course of the next year. So, I'll be by center here, letting Connor present, but I'll be available for questions and whatnot at the end. So appreciate the time today.
Awesome. Hey, everybody. My name is Conor Cousins, so I fall underneath the third-party product team underneath Mo. My primary focus is managing our statewide imagery clients. And so I'm going to be our tour guide here. So I'm going to be covering a lot of the material. And we're looking to get through all of this within 20 minutes. At the end, we'll have 10 minutes to have Q&A, which we're really excited about. And based on the previous meetings, this is a very engaged group. So we're looking forward to any questions, comments, or any topics you guys want to bring up in the last 20 minutes. So between the two firms, we have a lot of experience working with states all over the country on implementing statewide imagery programs. This isn't just limited to orthos, but also statewide LiDAR, obliques, you name it. And so at the top, we've put Texas and Utah in bold. And the reason for that is because there were similar challenges at the beginning, or objectives that are similar to what we've heard on the past couple of calls. And again, Jenna, thank you for letting us participate in those. Those were very informative. We're all very excited about the combining Sanborn and AppGeo. We just wanted to quickly highlight some of the offerings that we have now with our combined capabilities. So that's everything from licensed content, which would include 3-inch, 1-foot, 6-inch imagery, as well as obliques, DMs, land cover, and I'm sure you guys are very well acquainted with Sanborn, but also on-demand collection. So the very exciting part about combining forces with Sanborn is that we are a one-stop shop for pretty much any of the data collection that you guys might need. And from our experience, there's always, each state is different. Each state has common challenges. And then within each state, there's a wide or diverse range of stakeholders who need different resolutions or different time periods. So we're very excited about the enhanced capabilities that we'll be able to provide moving forward. And we did some behind the scenes math, and from a budgetary perspective, we wanted to just highlight that we're looking at approximately around $600K per year for offering some of the requirements that you guys had laid out in on the previous calls. I don't know, Jason or Mo, if you wanted to add anything there.
No, I think we can talk about it at the end as well. We have another at the end.
So we're going to get into 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳 in detail in the next couple of slides, but we just wanted to highlight that we understand that contracting and producing data sets can be a great cost, and it's very time intensive. So today we're going to be talking about 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳, which has improved accessibility for our clients, on top of the usage analytics, which help drive data-driven decisions. So looking at everything from usage statistics to heat maps, and then also we built 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳𝐵 in order to make it as easy as possible for people to view and get access to imagery. And one of my favorite clients, Matt Peters, who also mountain bikes, will have some details on Utah, and then of course Gayla Mullins in Texas as well. So those are the two states that we chose that had similar objectives and goals that AGIC, at least that we've picked up on previous conversations. So we're going to highlight a little bit about what they're doing and how they're benefiting from 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳𝐵. Next slide, please. So just to quickly highlight on 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳𝐵, I don't know if everybody in the room is familiar with it, but as imagery was headed to the cloud, we wanted to figure out a way to deliver it efficiently and cost effective. And since we are a geospatial company, we took it a step farther by also adding analytical capabilities that come with a geospatial component. So we're going to get into more details on that later on in these slides, but 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳𝐵 is built, it lives in the cloud, it's cloud agnostic. So as long as the imagery is in the right tiled format, 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳𝐵 can serve imagery from any of the cloud hosted solutions that you guys see up there. So this is kind of been a pattern that we've been seeing recently, and I don't know if anybody in the room, if this resonates, but many states have been collecting imagery for years or even decades now, right? I'm sure most of you guys have probably been using imagery since the Grateful Dead was on tour or Metallica, but we've been seeing communities get more and more involved with change detection analysis, also looking at their urban forests, environmental assets over time. And with a single snapshot, you can't always answer the exact questions of what's happened in that area. So with 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳𝐵, you're able to bring your own imagery. I'm going to give credit to Mo. I'm pretty sure he coined that, but we did want to highlight that you can also bring your own data sets that maybe are stored locally, and we can put them within a centralized place as well. So I'm not gonna, we're gonna have a couple slides to really dig into these, but you know, asking the question of what does 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳𝐵 provide, or what value does 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳 provide to a statewide program? At the high level, it falls into two different buckets. So end user experience, and then the admin controls. Again, like I had mentioned, we built 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳𝐵 to make it as easy as possible for people to not only access their imagery assets, but also to have control limits on who can see what data sets. And you're also able to customize or put a custom geofence on exactly where certain users can view imagery. We see this a lot with contractors that need to do a project-specific agreement with the state government, and you're able to not only limit where they're able to view the imagery, but also how long they're able to look at the imagery when it comes to, you know, certain license terms. So this, I'm sure everybody in the audience at some point in your career has spent a lot of time looking at a window like this. We built 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳𝐵 to plug and play directly into the major third-party software that you guys are actually doing your day-to-day work in. So the output from 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳𝐵 is a WMS or WMTS, and so you can plug that directly into any software that's OGC compliant. And this falls into the second bucket. So this is the admin controls. And this is really where we start to see user management become very powerful for our current clients. So you can define access, and over here on the right, you can see what an example of a statewide organization would look like. So you can put contractors, you can put water resources, so you can accurately track the usage against the department that is consuming that imagery. So on the far right, we're tracking usage automatically behind the scenes, so you can understand who's using or the volume of requests that people are looking for, or that are looking at imagery. And the next slide is where 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳 really shines. So it wouldn't be right if we didn't put a location component to that data. And what we're able to do through 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳 Analytics, of course, we can track the usage, but also generate heat maps. So this is one of the most, at least in my opinion, most powerful tools that 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳 provides. So you can see who's using what, how often they're using it compared to their peers, as well as where they're viewing imagery. And we've seen this with Texas, where they have used this data to put together a cost share model between state organizations. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we go over Texas in a little bit. But again, that's the fair funding model. This is exactly how Texas is able to put that together. Okay, so now we're gonna dig into Utah as well as Texas. So Utah has done some really cool things with 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳. They were one of our first statewide clients. They had taken advantage of the low cost of cloud storage, and then the streaming capabilities of 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳 to display not only just ortho imagery, so that image on the right, what we're looking at there clockwise from the left, we're looking at terrain maps, hillshade data, which was derived from a DEM, as well as USGS topo data, and finally NRG data as well. So what 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳, or what Utah has done with 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳, is essentially use it to develop their GIS clearinghouse. And I don't know if it's big enough, but over there on the right, you can see all of those layers that they have available instantly within 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳. They just have to click a button to turn them on. And this brings us to Texas. So the Texas Imagery Service. So they've also been using 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳 since 2015. One of the really cool things about Texas is that they are able to, or we've been able to help them create a historical catalog, if you will. So over there on the right, you can see how they're able to keep those vintages in the way that we have been able to make that cost efficient is through cloud optimization. So we're able to look at where that data is stored, depending on how often people are viewing that. We're able to optimize the cost by putting it into different storage buckets. So annually, we've saved them about 80% of what they were paying before if we did not optimize their cloud storage. And so what we're looking at here, and I know in the past couple of meetings, this has been brought up a couple of times, but using the heat maps not only shows where people are using, but it also allows them to create that fair funding model, especially when people are looking at or asking for additional refreshes. So we're able to go in and through the usage tracking and the heat map, we're able to help them make data-driven decisions. And so this is how they have priced out the tiers, which also enables the smaller agencies to really buy into that economy of scale. So it's a win-win-win situation when you're able to track usage across the state and everybody gets fresh content. So just to bring it all together with 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳, one of the main things or benefits is having a centralized hub. So people are able to discover it, they can access it, and they can use imagery instead of spending time not doing the actual work at hand, trying to find the imagery, passing around hard drives, which is also takes up time and is expensive, especially when you're the state of Texas. I thought about putting a Buc-ee's thing up here, but everything is bigger in Texas. So having a centralized hub where everybody can go and find and access imagery has definitely benefited 𝐀𝐫𝐢 and Richard. So what we've been able to do by having their program set up within a cloud-hosted solution, I had mentioned it earlier, we're able to optimize their storage. They're all able to control access. So if somebody's not supposed to be or does not have permission to view the imagery, we're able to put limits on that, which also reduces the cost. And of course, that plays into managing users as well. The big one here is that the data-driven decisions. So when we were looking at potentially doing, the urban areas, so specifically the DOT wanted annual refreshes. So what we were able to do with 𝐀𝐫𝐢 and her team was, okay, let's go look and see how frequently people are viewing data within that area. And so that helped them justify the fact that it was a need, not a want. And again, all this just plays into, we totally understand that it can be time intensive and states go through a great deal of cost to acquire these large data sets. So 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳 is here to make your imagery go farther and relieve some of the burden of having the state actually do all of the data maintenance rather than using the imagery for your day-to-day work. And this will be our closing slide. Again, we just want to drive home that with the combination of Sanborn and AppGeo, we're here to, we have a suite of different offerings now, whether that's licensed, on-demand collection, and we're here to help you not only acquire the content, but also a lot of the times what we see is, getting the imagery is great unless you're the person sitting in the room who's thinking, how am I going to manage all of this data? And that, I don't know, Mo or Jason, if you had anything to add there.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I think the thought process here as we put the slide deck together is, there's a lot of thought in terms of buying the imagery and having the pixels to be used, right? And so when Sanborn and AppGeo look at programs like this, what we want to make sure is that we're setting up our clients with the ability to have reoccurring programs. And that's where kind of the 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳 app and some of the other software programs that the team provides here really benefits and really shines, right? The thought is, how do we not only deliver it, but how do we allow you to have a process to kind of build on that so you can have a reoccurring program moving forward? And that's what's really been successful for Texas and for Utah. And it's hard to do that when you don't have the analytics, if you don't have a methodology for really democratizing the data so that everybody can access it easy. And that's really what the thought process is here. It's not just about the content, but also about how do we make it easier and better for our customers to use the data. And so that's why there's a little bit more focus today just about, the application and why it's valuable in terms of the 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳 app. But this slide, as you can tell here, also presents the ideology associated with the content that you guys are looking for. And so when you think about, yearly and bi-yearly and 3-year refreshes, we know there's been discussions about, potential additional products like oblique data, higher resolution data for the urban areas, as well as some additional planimetric features. And when you kind of look at the starting price on some of these programs as 600K, which is relatively affordable on a per year basis, it really, I think, provides a compelling solution for what you guys are looking for. So. See if anybody has any questions, or go ahead.
Yeah, does anybody have any questions for Sanborn and AppGeo?
I did I did move through it pretty quickly, but I wanted to make sure that we had time.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think it's important. It's a lot for folks to digest. It is right along the theme of the information that we're seeking for the imagery program discussion. We really need to understand what our options are. So I appreciate your time with this and your thoroughness in your presentation. I think that's great. Kevin, Eric, do you have any questions for the AppGeo guys? I don't see.
No,
Oh,
I think I'm good. Couldn't get the meat turned off.
I'm good. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
If I can make a comment, Jenna, real quick, just to add, kind of add on to it there. One of the things that, being part of the Texas program, basically since the inception about 70 years ago, we've been able to assist them in doubling the occupancy, or I guess the participation rate. So they've got quite a few stakeholders now in the program, and they were able to leverage, as you saw Connor had there, the heat mapping to understand where the usage is coming from, who's using the data. It also identified areas of high valued interest, as I mentioned, I think a couple of days ago, Monday's meeting, where through the heat mapping, we identified these areas in these metros, and then they went out and sought to do a custom collect, which we participated in that with them as well, in those urban areas on a leaf off. So we were essentially bringing all these forms of data together with them and being informed by what 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳 has to provide. And like I said, the other thing is too, that on those historical layers, they're bringing in that 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳 60 centimeter content every year. They're able to get that. So it is sort of a bring your own data to the party sort of situation. So if we can help you with your licensed content, with your custom collects, and or with your 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳 data, 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳 can ingest any of the data and serve it back out.
And then I could have one more thing. One of my favorite quotes from 𝐀𝐫𝐢𝐳 is acquire it once and use it many times.
Yeah.
So it's all in the same centralized hub. So apply it once, have agencies use it many times. So
That's excellent. And it's good to know that this option is available. So yeah, I really appreciate your time and your willingness to educate us. I think that's great. We may need to bring you back to the imagery work group so that others can also learn and we'll be able to make an informed decision. I think that's excellent. So thank you.